Hey, what's going on? I'm Brandon Carter, BrandonCarter211.com, and I'm here at the home of the 90s Museum with the owner, Jessica. How you doing today?
I am great. I am great. It is a pleasure. Thank you so much, coming.
She has an amazing energy. We were just talking before we even started, and she is an incredible personality, an incredible business owner. Can you please tell us more about the business? It's obvious what it is, but what is the home of the 90s Museum?
Home of the 90s is a breathtaking experience. So some people would want to call it a selfie museum that had not been here. But the way that it knows it can affect your emotions is much more than that. Home of the 90s Museum is a museum of feelings. It takes you back to the dopest era of all times,
Facts.
The 90s.
What made you want to start this museum, and when did it start for you?
So I actually started this museum November of 2019. I started it as an Airbnb in my home.
Right before the pandemic.
Right before the pandemic. So the pandemic was released in March. That's when my business shot up to the roof.
Wow.
Because everyone else, it went from a museum to more, it went from an Airbnb to more of a kind of party house. And then it just got like out of control. So people were like begging, can I just come and take a picture by the Fresh Prince wall, designed by, shout out to Enigma. He was my very first artist. He made my dreams come true. He really put my dreams into fruition. So a year later, it just became so hectic, and I was like, I need to have a clear distinction between where I live and where I work. So I decided, along with one of my very good friends, we opened up a real museum. So that's where we're standing right now.
So museums are amazing, and it's very important, especially for Black people and Black culture, to experience our own museums, you know what I'm saying? So what does that feel like to have that, you know what I'm saying, as a Black person? How do you feel?
I can't even put it into words. It makes me emotional. It feels so good to know that I'm making others feel so good. I know that this works because people come and then they keep coming back. Soon as they meet another friend, they like, hey, home of the 90s. And then they come back and then they feel like they're like tour guides. It's just such a good feeling. You can check on, I always tell people, before you even buy a ticket, look on Google. We have over 300 5-star reviews. People love this place. It's like, you just really have to see it to believe it.
You see how amazing and radiant her energy is. Like, it's so contagious. And I just want to say that I truly love it. But when people come here and when they leave, what do you want them to take from it?
The experience. I want them to take pictures. I want them to have memories. I want their day to be better. When people come in here, it's like the feel-good place. They just always smile. They always offering to help. If you had a bad day and you come here, it's no way that bad day can continue because it's full of good colors. It's full of good memories. It's just a lot of people, they like to come and they dress up in their 90s attire and they get into character and they're taken back to the best time that they ever lived, which is, again, the dopest era of all times, the 90s.
It brings back nostalgia, childhood. No matter, people bring their kids, it's crazy to think the 90s, an era which people are grown now, to be like, oh, this is what mommy and daddy used to dance to, because we don't look at the 90s as like 30 years ago, but essentially that's really what it is, but it don't seem like it because it still seems very relevant, to this time.
It is.
And it very
Definitely.
much is, you know what I'm saying? So it's a beautiful memory for a beautiful time, for music that we all love, an era that we all love, and I want to thank you for just bringing that back and making people happy and making people feel good, especially during this time living in the pandemic. People are depressed and not wanting to get out the house, but you provide happiness and smiles, and that is extremely a beautiful thing. So just know, like, you have a beautiful place in the culture, and this is a beautiful thing. So where do you want to see this museum expand to, or do you want to open other museums, other places? Where do you want this to go for you?
That's a really, really good question. My business partner and I, we're in the works and talks of what we'll do next, but right now, this is our baby. If you come in here, you're going to see either me or my business partner, because the first thing we say when you come in here is make sure you leave us a review, not after we find out if you liked it or not. Reviews are so important to us, and we can't let those go downhill. So we may franchise, but we really, really would have to create a program where they know that we're very, very customer service driven, customer centered. customers mean everything. One bad review can cost us everything. So as of right now, it's a staple. So if you want to see the 90s, you have to come here. And that's such a good feeling to be able to tell somebody, if you want to see the 90s, you really can't go see it anywhere except if you come to Concord, North Carolina. So
I mean, and that's a beautiful place. I mean, it causes an amazing attraction for people to come here when they visit, you know, Charlotte, when they visit Concord, or even if some people are coming from South Carolina. Some people are here from Georgia. That people are driving here to see this, which is a beautiful thing because not everybody can have that and maintain that. So y'all doing an excellent thing. Can you tell the people where they can find you guys on social media and your address where they can actually find you?
So our address is 404 Winecoff School Road. We're located about 5 exits from the Concord Mills Mall. We're in Concord Mills, North Carolina. Our Instagram is Home of the 90s Museum NC. You can find us on Facebook as Home of the 90s. And yeah, we're just not hard to find. We're on TikTok the same way. So yeah, we're just going to keep on getting the love, keep on sharing the love, and keep on creating these bright smiles that mean something.
And I'm BrennanCarter2on1.com with Home of the 90s Museum.
Ta-da!
One of the coolest places I've visited so far in Charlotte is the Home of the 90s Museum. It's a must-see. 404 Winecoff School Road, Concord, North Carolina. BrennanCarter211.com. The Home of the 90s Museum full of nostalgia. Imagine all the things you cherished from your childhood put into one place. A great place for all ages. All of the exhibits are beautifully put together and crafted so creatively. A must-see attraction in North Carolina.
It's me. My best friend's always on my mind. You wanna be down, come on. Gotta do what I gotta do. Gotta move.
BrennanCarter211.com.